All right, and we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and Game Source. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our shows. And if you can, please give us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe, follow, or do anything that you can to support us right here at the Lakers Fast Break, LakersBall.com, Lakerholics.com. Be part of the conversations today, during the game, and after the game at LakersBall.com and Lakerholics.com. Plus the Pop Culture Cosmos, where we're dropping another great episode this weekend for you, talking about the Batman, Winning Time, and so much more. Plus also as well, Inside Sports Fantasy Football and Game Source. Subscribe on all these different ventures. It is sincerely appreciated. Just want to make mention before we head on the show again, if you have not caught it yet, I have an interview with award-winning author Jeff Pearlman. Not only will that interview be played on the Pop Culture Cosmos this weekend, wherever you get your podcasts, but also as well, it's available right now on the Lakers Fast Break channel, wherever you get your podcasts, plus Facebook, plus YouTube. So please go ahead and check out my great interview with Jeff Pearlman, who wrote the book Showtime, also Three Ring Circus, but his book Showtime is now the basis for the upcoming HBO Max series on the Lakers dynasty of the 1980s called Winning Time. So please go ahead and check that out today. You'll be glad you did. But as for the Lakers of now, I will say this. About a week ago, the Lakers and Clippers matched up in a very nip and tuck battle with a very back and forth type feel, with a last second shot by Reggie Jackson getting the victory. And these were two teams that, coming out of the All-Star break, were fairly close to each other. And one win by the Lakers could have set in motion just basically overtaking the Clippers by this time in a week. But unfortunately, a week has passed, and the Lakers' misfortunes have followed since that shot by Reggie Jackson, as they continue to lose, and in most cases lose quite handily. And you're hearing the rumors now that with what's going on with Russell Westbrook, and the rumors that were put out there by none other than Bleacher Report, that Russell Westbrook and the Lakers are mutually agreeing that they should part ways at the end of the season. Big shocker. No, it's not, because it's something that you can see the handwriting on the wall. So it's not that really big a news. So I don't understand why everybody's making a big deal about it. Great that Russell Westbrook is thinking about leaving. Great the Lakers are thinking about trying to trade him. That's just great and dandy. But, the problems with Russell Westbrook have been evident all season. And when it comes to today's game against the Clippers, we saw evidence of not only him, but the rest of the team, what happens when they just don't focus. Because after a very competitive first half, where it was 66-63, where the teams were it's high scoring, not a lot of defense being played, but unfortunately in the third quarter, a disastrous one for the Lakers, one of their absolute worst of the season. It got so bad, I think they went on a 32-6 run, did the Clippers, in the third quarter, leading to a 40-18 third quarter thrashing that the Lakers could never overcome. And the Clippers cruised to a 132-111 victory over the Los Angeles Lakers in a game, like I said, that just was once that snowball started rolling downhill and the Clippers started scoring left and right, and the Lakers had no answer on both ends of the floor. You could just see their heads just shaking, just their posture, their mannerisms, their body language. You told the story indeed. But here today to talk about the game are three great guests. We've got awesome people indeed. First up is the man behind Lakerholics.com. Be part of the conversation today at Lakerholics.com. It is LakerTom and LakerTom. You said you wanted to go ahead and save your misery and not be on Tuesday's show. Well, the misery followed you on today's program.
God, I hope so. I hope not so. I mean, this was I always try to find the silver linings in all of these games and even the tough seasons. And it's practically impossible to do that with a particular team because they're so inconsistent that the only thing that they're consistent about is being inconsistent. Is this the game that's going to get Frank Vogel fired from his job?
We've said that before.
There's got to be a point. You can't lose in the next 20 games and wait till the end of the year to fire Frank. I don't think anybody on this team, including LeBron James and Anthony Davis, still believe that if they were healthy heading into the playoffs, that this team could win, because they don't believe it themselves. You could see that in their body language. You could see that in the way that they collapse. They can rally and get back, but just all it takes, they're so fragile that it just takes one bad call from the refs, one questionable play, and they fall apart. And we saw that today. I think the thing that just jumps out at me, I've never been a Ty Lue fan, but I think you'd have to be an idiot to this point in time not to wonder what could have happened if the Lakers had Ty Lue as the coach instead of Frank Vogel, because Frank's offense is just absolutely atrocious, and it's so frustrating to watch the team not play as well as youth teams that I see play every year. And it's just amazing how there's just no cohesiveness, the schemes and everything are just totally out of whack. The whole organization now is suddenly out of whack. You can't hope that we're going to get a new owner, a new front office, a new coach, and maybe trade all of the stars on the team. But I think at this point in time, this season is shot. I don't see any way that they're going to do anything positive. They're going to go into the play-in tournament, just like the Nets may go into the play-in tournament, and the Nets may be able to be the team that could go take it all away if they just had the right situation. The Lakers, I don't think, have a chance in hell of getting in there. They're going to be lucky to win a first-round matchup if they happen to be matched up against somebody that they, have a good matchup against. But it's, you got to stop worrying about this season because it's lost. You start thinking now about what the Lakers are going to do this summer. They have to move Westbrook. They have to be able to take contracts back from bad contracts from players who can contribute. Whether that be, guys like Tobias Harris or guys, like Buddy Hield or Malcolm Brogdon. Those are players that are basically have 3 years on their contracts and a big amount of money so that they can be a trade. But the Lakers are going to have to make some moves like that. And they're obviously going to have to get a new coach. And I still feel that there's great reasons for starting that coaching search right now, even if they don't even make the search selection until teams are out of the playoffs, because they can't hire anybody from another team that's in the playoffs. But they need to start getting their organization in order and not be looking like the last thing I want to see them do is be searching for a coach. And usually that means a direction as to how you're going to play right when you should be going out there and recruiting players for a team that doesn't have a coach yet. And we don't know exactly how they're going to want to play. And you got hanging over everything else, August 4th date when LeBron's that's the deadline for LeBron, signing an extension for 2 years. So the Lakers could set some clarity. If LeBron doesn't sign that extension, the Lakers could still sign and trade him to somebody. They could still hope that he would change his mind if we had a great year. But if they were smart, they would probably have to trade him just to be sure not to lose him for nothing. So it was a discouraging evening, especially after the way we finished the first half, and came back with that great run, and then just turn around and hand it right back to them with a listless, hopeless performance in the third quarter was the ultimate disappointment of the evening.
Once again, it is the Lakers, unfortunately, falling to the Los Angeles Clippers 132-111 with a dreadful third quarter. And here today to talk about the game as well is a man indeed who is probably very upset and is ready to do a rant. He probably had several rants on his Game Time chat as Ox 1947. at LakersBall.com. It is Joe Soro, and Joe, again, a situation where the team just cannot put it together for all 4 quarters.
Well, it's funny you say that because around the second quarter before they made their run, I was asking the question on Game Time, which quarter are they going to play like cowards? And for this game, it was the third quarter, which has been an enigma for them most of the year. They usually play like spineless unprofessionals in the second a lot too, but they actually had a pretty good first half, made a good run, and then they showed who they've been all year and how much leadership they've had all year.
The lack of energy in that third quarter is appalling on both sides.
And again, it's sad too because I feel really, really bad for Austin Reeves. I feel bad for Carmelo Anthony because I think they're one of the few that have actually tried to play as hard, hard and effective in playing hard because playing hard.
Joe, I'm losing you. I think I'm losing you. Joe, you still there? I think I'm losing you, Joe. Let me go ahead and get LRob in here. LRob, great to have you on the program. Welcome back. I think Joe has some technical difficulties. I think that's the same thing you can say for the Lakers. They had some technical difficulties as well. Big shout out to Chris Sardieri for the thumbs up on Facebook and also Johnny Blade for sharing our feed. LRob, any thoughts on the game so far? I mean, it just very disappointing. You were at the game last week in that pivotal game for the Lakers last week against the Clippers, where one certain direction could have gone our way, and we could be now in the 8th spot ahead of the Clippers. Unfortunately, that didn't materialize, and we've gone downhill ever since.
Yeah, the Lakers, they're pretty much getting what they deserve. I mean, when you don't play connected, when you don't consistently bring effort, you should lose. You should get embarrassed. So, it is what it is. That game you're mentioning.
But that third quarter is so bad, it broke the internet for Joe Soro.
Yeah, Joe was ready to go on a roll. So, I wanted to hear it too. So
Saved by the bell.
Finish that rant.
He's back.
They deserve all of it. But
Sorry, guys. I had a little communication problem.
Well, no, I just said that the Lakers played so bad in the third quarter, it destroyed your internet. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, again, maybe the gods. Sorry, go ahead. I'll finish up after you're done, Rob. Sorry.
No worries. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, no, I was. There's not a whole lot to say. The Lakers are.
We suck.
Talked about let's give it a run. Let's do this. Last year it was drumming. I mean, at some point we got to look at the whole thing, and it's not these little bit places. It's not Dennis. It's not Drummond. It's not Westbrook. It is the collective group of guys. That's then you get you let somebody like AC go, somebody who plays hard, who's competitive, who enjoys defending, who does the little things, and you get what you deserve. When you start being cheap, when you start trying to take shortcuts, this is what happens. So, you know what? It's tough to watch. It's bitter to watch. It hurts to watch. But when you really think about it as a basketball fan, they are getting what they deserve. So we'll see how they can dig themselves out of this. And, I'll be rooting each game, but I'm not heartbroken when they go out and if they don't care, how much should I care?
Do you think they're paying the residuals for everything that they did in the bubble to get the championship, that they're, as far as the fallout from that, do you think they're paying a lot for that?
You know what? I don't know about that, but you know what? It was worth it. If I take that championship, I'll take the chip and tie the Celtics with 17. It was worth it. If you tell me I have to take 3 or 4 losing, tough, embarrassed by Reggie Jackson of all people type of seasons, I'll take it for the championship.
Well, that's what I mentioned to someone that when I was posting the Jeff Pearlman episode today all over social media, somebody responded back that how can they listen to a podcast with the way the season's been going for the Lakers? And I say, not only is our show, but also the Lakers, an organization based not only off of its history, off the championships, not just now, but celebrate what they've done in the past. And I reminded them that this is the organization that leads the NBA along with the Celtics with 17 world championships, and that's not to be underestimated. So I'm really, hopeful for the future for this team that they'll start making the right maneuvers. But from what I'm seeing from the organization, a lot of things need to be made. And I'm trying to get Joe back on this. There he is. Sorry, Joe, I want to bring. Oh, got an echo in here. Let me try to see if I can get. There you go. All right, there we go. Joe, I got you back in, ready to rock and roll. What's your thoughts on today's game? I mean, seriously, it's got to be very painful for you and everybody to go ahead at LakersBall.com to watch.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that question? Sorry, I'm having major communication problems, but I think I've solved it now. Finally, I've switched over to my secondary service.
Well, go ahead. You're right.
So, okay. You don't usually want to. I mean, I saw it coming because I've been watching it happen for 60. This is the 62nd game now, right? So obviously, I was hoping it wouldn't happen, but my brain always overrides my heart. My heart was hoping that run in the second quarter would catapult them to a win, but my head was telling me that they were going to either blow it in the third quarter or the fourth quarter, and I just didn't know they were going to blow that much in the third quarter. They blew about as bad as you can the position they're in, and you're trying to find the right words to describe the situation, trying to find some originality, because I feel like I keep repeating myself every time we do a show. So, again, we're going to base it off this particular game. That's the only original part in this. They just played with no want. They are an unprofessionally run team. Again, you have to be this brutal because from top to bottom, they are a dismal organization. Absolutely dismal. I'm talking about this year, I'm talking about the past. I'm not talking about what's going to happen in the summer. But they are, from top to bottom, as unprofessional a run team as I've ever seen a Laker team. And that even counts the penny pinching 2000 teams when Kobe was stuck in, when he was stuck in Siberia without anybody between 05 and 07. Even at least when we were tanking to get high draft picks, you could at least say that those guys were not going to win anything. They didn't have the talent to do it. So you somewhat kind of understood that. But the fact that you have Anthony Davis, you have LeBron James on this team, and you have no leadership, even if you're not playing, how come Kawhi and Paul George aren't playing, and you're still having those guys playing their butts off? Now we can give credit to Ty Lue, and I'm not discrediting Ty Lue, but it's an interesting observation, Tom, that you bring up that, like, how different would this team have been if Ty Lue had been the coach, right? I think we have revisionist history there because I remember Ty Lue getting a stomachache towards that last, part of LeBron's stay there. And then after LeBron left, he was like Mike Brown. He couldn't win a game to save his life. So why is it different now? Why is it different when he's in LA?
I think what's made it different is that there's two things that jump out at me from this game when I step back from it and get out of the angst of just losing again. And both things really strike at what I think is the heart of the problem with the Lakers. If there was two things that jumped out at me in this game, it was, number one, roster construction. The Clippers have a roster construction that is better than the Lakers on the court 4 times this year, with Their two superstars gone. That's roster construction is a big part of it. And then the other thing that jumps out at it is using that roster. How they use them, the offense that they're running, the way that they play, the defense that they play, the substitutions that are in there. They've got two centers that are so effective, and we don't have any size because of the poor roster construction of the team. And we have no answer for, Dwight wasn't an answer for anything tonight. He's like 1 out of 4 games type of guy. We are so weak in the center and power forward positions because we haven't put any money in them because we got LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And the problem is that Anthony Davis is proving to not be available all the time. And LeBron James, whether it's the knee or father time, he's doing everything he can, but this is not the same LeBron James. He can't explode his way out of this situation.
Again, so, I'm not expecting LeBron to be 2013 LeBron. However, LeBron oozes. I'm going back and forth in my own head, okay? Because you're talking about an all-time great, arguably a top 5 player, right? He's in his 19th year. So you're sitting, I'm sitting there and it's going through my head, right? So I'm thinking, okay, if LeBron retires let's say he retired in 2016 after he won the title in Cleveland and said, guys, I'm going out a winner. He'd been in the league for, at that point, would have been, 14, 15 years. We wouldn't even be talking about how any of this stuff, right? But the fact that he's hanging on, and there's always that Batman line from The Dark Knight where you either die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain. And I don't want to. I'm not looking at LeBron's talent on the court. I'm not talking about that. That's not the problem. If he's lost a step, that's fine. You can't be unreasonable there. Okay. The whole point of bringing Russell Westbrook in, and the reason why I was supporting is I thought he would help maintain LeBron throughout the year. We're not dumb. We've watched this game enough to know that I don't care how well you're playing. When you're in your 19th season and 37 years old, you still got to be careful. Now, the issue with LeBron is his leadership. This isn't the first time I've seen this kind of stuff. This is the part that, as a non-Laker player, this is the stuff that Laker fans would see of LeBron, and not even Laker fans, anybody, and have said, there's some issues with LeBron on things where, he's the guy. Like, here's another that I love using analogies again, so the general audience can understand. He's the guy. It's kind of. I don't know if this might sound me, but I got to say it. He's the guy. If he was on the Titanic, he would sneak into the boat before the women and children got there. Am I wrong? So if he's like that, let's say he is like that, or maybe it's just my interpretation, then doesn't it make sense that every time something happens, the ship sinks? Like, I'm talking, how fast did they make that 3-point lead into a 14-point lead? It was 2 minutes. I remember the clock said 10 minutes left in the third. And then I remember seeing 6 minutes where they had only scored 2 points halfway through the third quarter.
It was a 32-6 run.
Yes. So again, this team has the front office made a massive mistake that I supported. So I have to be clumped into that because I supported it as a fan. The ownership continues to be doing something where I don't know if they have the right people around them. And then the players, which in my, assessment of all that stuff that's going on with the front office should not matter at this point. The players dictate success. It's the NBA, it's the NBA. Athletes make the difference. We saw this stuff with the Bulls in the 90s. No matter how bad Krause was and Reinsdorf were, it didn't matter because as long as Michael Jordan and Pippen and Rodman and Kukoc and those guys were playing, it didn't matter how bad Jerry Krause was at communicating or doing anything. He's some guy who's sitting in the stands. The guys are on the court that matter in this business. So for me, the issue is you already know you absolutely volcanoed your team with Russell Westbrook. But I think what's a bigger issue is your leaders are either not available. Your two main leaders, the most important parts. One is never available, and the other is when things aren't going well, he doesn't come through the abyss. He quits like everyone else. And that is right there. Whenever I get into the discussion, the played out, boring, no talent discussion of who the greatest player is, that is the one thing I tell everyone that asks me that question. Guys, I watched Michael Jordan in his prime. I watched Kobe Bryant in their prime. And I've watched LeBron in his prime. LeBron is big and amazing, and he's going to own all the stats, as great as he is. He doesn't have the Kobe MJ, that little extra above. You know, the guy that'll hit 2 free throws to give his a team a chance on a torn Achilles, or someone who got food poisoning. He called it the flu, but it was food poisoning, and can win a game 5 in the finals and essentially win the title. I mean, it was that close for them to lose to Utah in that series. So to me, that's what I grew up watching, and that's what I'm used to. And I'm 44 years old, and I'm used to that. This generation, the guys that are in their 30s, 10 years younger, I guess there was a shift somewhere there. I'd say the parents in the 90s didn't really, I think they catered too much to their kids and didn't let the teachers whoop them a little bit. And, here we are. The second the ship is going down, it's like, okay, fend for yourself. Don't be a leader. And that's where it is. It's a leaderless team. It needs to be gutted. It needs to be cleaned. And my only worry right now is I hope Jeannie can stop her, what do they call it when they have those parties at these rich people's houses? Container parties. What do they call it? Tupperware parties? Stop having your Tupperware friends running your organization. Get some real freaking people in here.
Okay. That was Joe Soro right there for you. LRob, I'm going to make sure I lead this conversation with you in hand as far as having the last say on this. So before we head on out, any last thoughts on the Lakers game today or where we stand as an organization? Because I miss you here on the show. We don't get you on enough. I just want to make sure your thoughts are fully shared before we head on out.
Yeah, I just put in some guys who's going to play with some effort. When you watch the game today, you can see some guys were slacking. Dwight didn't seem like he played with a whole lot of effort today. He's trailing Zubac down the court.
Right from the get-go.
Yeah, I mean, there's a turnover in the backcourt. Melo, he gets back to his credit, but then he don't pick up the shooter. He leaves the guy wide open for a 3. It's like, and he just sucks into the lane. It's like, if they're not giving effort, then they are not playing smart.
He was a minus 34.
Yeah, it's a combination of things with this team. So we don't have enough time to probably go through the litany of, why they are losing. But I mean, they should have enough pride to at least play at, a team like the Clippers is playing without their best players and bring better effort. But, like Joe said, LeBron, he's a good leader when he's got a real good team. But when times are tough, he's not the best leader. I mean, his first season here, and he had the young guys, he wasn't interested in playing defense that whole season. And, stuff like that, that as great as he is, that those are some of the things that you need out of him as a leader. And I think that's why you see the team spiraling. He's getting his points. People, rag.
And Rob, I'm gonna
Westbrook when he would be on teams and just putting up numbers, and his team wasn't performing well, and that's what LeBron is doing, and people are raving about it. And now, at 30, his 19th year, so I mean, I give him some slack on that, but just do the effort, do the little things. I think that's what a leader does. They would do the dirty work. and help show their teammates that they're going the extra mile as opposed to making sure they're getting their numbers. So it's frustrating, the whole thing around. The organization's got to take a deep look. Jeannie's got a mess on her hands. But the good thing is they're the Lakers. So the brand is strong. They will always be able to attract talent. Can Rob and those guys put it together and figure out how to put together a good team? I can't say I have the confidence that they can, but you do have LeBron James, who's still a very good player. You still have Anthony Davis, who maybe one day will get enough fire in him to come back and start taking things personally. I think we've seen enough of his play to realize that he's not going to do that. He's not going to turn into the Greek freak and to say, I'm going to try to dominate every game. But as a Laker fan, that's all we can do is hold out hope that maybe he will one day.
Joe, real quick, and then go LakerTom, and then we'll head on out.
Yes, again, LeBron is, again, we're going to go back to the leadership part, which again, I think that's where we're sitting here and we're trying to make sense of this. Well, this is the time when a leader needs to right the ship, right? Okay, we're one man down. I'm still here. We have some guys that have some athleticism, that have some effort, that can play some basketball. I mean, these guys are professionals, and we've seen them play well. LeBron is if I was going to use, and again, I'm going to use another analogy. If this was the mafia, he wouldn't be a wartime consigliere. He's good at peacetime, but he's not good when the war starts. And we've seen, even when he was in his prime, him fold. We saw in 2011 when he was up 2-1 against Dallas, they folded. He was in his prime in 2014. He had cramps, ended up getting destroyed against the Spurs. So this is not he's in his 19th year. And again, if you're going to talk about you being, if you've all watched LeBron talk, he loves talking about himself, and he takes all the pride in being LeBron and the chosen one. Well, if you're going to be the leader and you're going to say that you're a certain thing, well, I'm going to come at you first. And while the Russell Westbrook trade was the crater, the asteroid crater that destroyed the Lakers this year, we're not getting anybody out of that crater. We're just letting them rot in there. We're not trying to get out and better the situation. So that falls in the hands of a LeBron James who's chasing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I heard some comparisons that he's the Kareem of his position. He's the Kareem of, because of his longevity. I think LeBron is more a Wilt Chamberlain of his position, because Wilt Chamberlain had these issues when he was playing. There was this lack of leadership when it mattered. Yeah, he won a couple titles. Yeah, he was as dominant as anybody probably that ever played. But they kind of share the same leadership qualities in that I believe LeBron should be sitting on at least 6 titles right now. There were some years there where it wasn't his fault. You got to admit that. And obviously Wilt should have won more than 2 with his dominance. So you're trying to compare it to why, you're trying to figure out why and compare it to something so it makes sense, because it's so hard during the game to try to make sense of it. But you do know this. You do know what it is. You don't want to admit it. It's your team. He's playing for our team. If he was playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers, it'd be easy, right? But you have to be real. You got to be real. This is a leaderless team from top to bottom, but it's more important on that court. And the main guy is not a leader. He's not leading.
Well, let me get LakerTom to go ahead and close this on out. Go ahead, my friend. Any final thoughts before we head on out?
Yeah, I think that I don't necessarily agree with the way that Joe has characterized LeBron and leadership, but I do think that there's an issue that it's almost that we're in this situation because of LeBron's hubris, that he felt that I can make the adjustment, whatever needs to be made. Just give me Westbrook. We'll make the adjustment. And that's, to to a certain extent, that's the reason I went along with the whole thing. Because first off, I generally do try to support the team and what they've done. And if they made the move, and it's not a whole lot you can do other than hope that it's best for the fans. But the truth of the matter is that we're in this situation because of LeBron and AD really bringing Russ in, and then Rob not putting together a good roster. A lot because of Russ $47 million not being utilized properly, and then Frank just basically resisting playing the right people and making the adjustments and not having any offensive philosophy. So it
just comes down to poor
I
decisions.
agree in the sense with Joe that it's a problem at every level. It's a problem of the players, the superstars and the role players. They weren't a good fit. And it's a problem of the front office that put them together and the coaching staff that couldn't straighten it out. And it's going to continue the rest of the 20 games that we've got to look at. I can't believe that, they're going to fire Frank Vogel before another couple of games if this continues.
Well, here we go again. The Frank Vogel watch continues right here at the Lakers Fast Break.
You checked Twitter? Did you check Twitter already? And
I am going to check Twitter as we head on out. So, yes, it is the Lakers Fast Break. Once again, thank you so much for watching and listening. Please, if you can go ahead and check out my interview with award-winning author Jeff Pearlman on his book becoming a series. This weekend you can catch on HBO and HBO Max called Winning Time. Please go ahead and catch it. And if you want the book today, it's Showtime plus his other great Lakers book, which I've already done an interview with him on, Three Ring Circus, which is rumored could be the precipice for season 2 for Winning Time. We'll see what happens there.
That was a great interview that you did, Gerald. And I love the point that when you asked him the question about how come they didn't name it Showtime. And
it just stands out right there. I mean,
I hadn't even thought of that whole situation. I thought it was stupid that they didn't name it Showtime until you think that their competitor is Showtime.
I mean, I understand their competitor's Showtime. I still think it's kind of weak because Winning Time just does not, if you're a Lakers fan, it just does not have that same.
Yeah, but somebody on the executive board did not like the idea of putting your competitor's name as the.
Well, that person's probably not a Lakers fan. They just don't get it. But yeah, I mean, okay, if you were really that confused and you'll think, oh, I'm going to go watch Showtime and it's going to be, you don't know. If you don't know the difference as far as between a show
the people who created the show, the initial idea of creating that series should have taken it to Showtime.
Yeah, well, again, there you go, right there. But
there's weird decisions on that. Don't they call Star Wars Land Galaxy's Edge? They don't call it Star Wars at Disneyland. That's probably some kind of
Wars. They call it Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, but Disney owns the rights to Star Wars, so they can call it whatever they want.
Yeah,
so they finally did change it. Okay, because initially they just had it as Galaxy's Edge. I wonder what happened.
No, I think it's Star Wars Galaxy Edge, but then again, the new hotel that they have in Orlando is the Star Wars Starliner. I think it has Star Wars in the name. So, yeah, I mean, Disney owns Star Wars, so they could do whatever they want.
Gerald, you know everything. I can tell you anything, and you know exactly the answer. I love it.
I don't know everything, but when it comes to pop culture, I try my best.
You're pretty damn close.
I try my best. I forgot about Detroit Gems.
You're like, I know. It's Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Orlando.
Week. You got me on the Detroit Gems, especially LRob. LRob was here. He would have named that instantly on the Detroit Gems. Something I remembered a long time ago, and I forgot, totally spaced it because I had not needed to remember the Detroit Gems in so long.
Well, when it comes to sports,
I was hitting myself almost. Jeff.
Well, sports is a completely different beast. I can usually stump anybody on sports if I really want to.
I knew Detroit Gems. I just forgot.
But you got me on the video games and movies and. For sure, you've answered every question I've asked on that.
Pop culture episodes. I hope I know something. But before we head on out, guys, it's been great having you here. Please follow Ox1947 during his game time chats at LakersBall.com. Of course, LakerTom and LRob are all over Lakerholics.com. Please be part of the conversations about LakersBall.com and Lakerholics.com. Once again, the Lakers unfortunately did fall 132 to 111. The Lakers are now at 27 and 35. They're only one game up on New Orleans, who's in 10th place. So the Lakers are still in 9th place, but just barely heading into Saturday's game against the Golden State Warriors. That's a ABC primetime game. That's on at 5:30 Pacific time. So everybody out there, it's on ABC, 5:30 Pacific time. No Lakers channel on that. But we'll be on after the game. LRob, great having you here. Any final thoughts before we head on out? Because we miss you, man. We miss you.
Looking forward to the game Saturday. Maybe
Golden State's been struggling. So
one can only hope.
We match up well with them too.
Yes.
One can only hope the light comes on. So
maybe.
Why not? Hey, we're due for a win, right?
We might have a new coach by then too.
We said that before. And we'll see what happens.
I'll say it every game from now on.
Okay, fair enough indeed.
You got to start somewhere.
Got to
rid of the
somewhere.
coach this week. Next week we'll take care of Pelinka. The following week we'll sell the team to I don't know who.
I want to sell to anybody.
Elon Musk.
Yes. Okay. Well,
anybody with a lot of money.
Yeah, anybody with a lot of money. I guess you're right.
And willingness.
There is no Frank Vogel firing on Twitter, so the Frank Vogel watch continues. But again,
they don't want to do it at night. They'll do it in the morning.
You should do it right out the get-go. But anyways, 132 to 111, a very abysmal third quarter showing led to this unfortunate loss once again for Los Angeles Lakers. But we'll be back hopefully to right the ship on Saturday night against the Golden State Warriors. It's going to be a home game. It's going to be in front of a live national television audience on ABC. So hopefully after the game, you will check us out. We did good numbers every time they're on national TV on ABC. So hopefully we'll do some good numbers there. Please go ahead and check out my interview with Jeff Pearlman. Please go ahead and check out LakerTom's latest article right there at Lakerholics.com. Go ahead and check out LRob's comments when he's over there at Lakerholics.com. Ox1947 right there at LakersBall.com. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on Saturday night right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.